What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we are here with the top 4 from the Vault Tour over in Germany. And no, that little number in the top right is not incorrect. We have got ourselves a player that's come into a survival tournament and gone 10-0. Now, for those of you that are unaware, have forgotten, didn't watch the earlier rounds, etc., day 1 of this tournament was free deck survival. What that means is you choose free decks, you bring them to the tournament, and then when you lose with a deck, that deck is eliminated. When you lose with all 3, you are eliminated. But here, Vincent has come along and he's still on his first deck. Now, day 2 is single elimination. Day 2, you start with whatever deck you finished day 1 with, and then you go single elimination. He's gone 10-0. That's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. He might go 12-0. We saw his deck in the previous round. I mean, spoiler alert, he's in top 4, so you know he won. His deck is nuts. It's so good. And he's got key charge. He got that off in the previous round. So look, Donatello here, the deck, Marcel, the player. You know, Marcel's sitting here at 8-2. Now, he's at least... Now, he would have taken 2 losses yesterday, so that means that he had to do the playoff. So he's done at least the playoff, top 32, top 16, top 8. So he's won at least 4 rounds today with this deck. So please be under no illusions. Just because we got a player with 0 losses and a player with 2 losses, that doesn't necessarily give Vincent some huge advantage. Because Vincent is undefeated today with his deck. Marcel is undefeated today with his deck. The difference is that Vincent won 6 rounds yesterday with his deck. Marcel, honestly, I don't know. He might have won none. He might have been at 4-1, lost, and started today with a new deck. Because if you lose with your second deck in day 1 in the last round, you start day 2 with your third deck. But he still won 4 rounds today with the deck. Although, incidentally, Vincent here... Yeah, alright. So, we're starting off then. What have we got? Looks like Vincent will be going first because he's drawn his 7 cards. And, I mean, if we have a quick look... It's going to be an Ember Imp party. We've seen so much Ember Imp on stream today. We've got Vincent on the left, he's got an Ember Imp. Marcel on the right, he's got 2 Ember Imp. What is interesting in Marcel's deck, he's got library access, plus a phase shift, plus a wild wormhole. And he's actually got reverse time, which swaps your deck and your discard pile. So he could have an absolutely nuts library access turn. Be on the lookout for that. So the Terror, a phenomenal turn 1 card if your opponent has no Amber, steal 2. We go over to Marcel. He plays a Schuler. He gets himself a... Oh, that's a Drumble, but not a... sorry, a Shaffles, but not a great Shaffles. No. That is Drumble. I'm not going dumb, ladies and gentlemen. That is Drumble. Drumble, if your opponent has 7 Amber or more, you steal all of it, but he doesn't. Oh, so you capture all of it. We do see a Mind Barb coming down, discarding a random card from your opponent's hand. It was too much to protect, which is a great card, but was not going to help Vincent next turn. Because you steal all but 6 of your opponent's Amber. So... yeah, it was never going to happen, ladies and gentlemen. It's just never going to happen. Also, just got on word, great news. No lunch break today. So that means we can just go straight into the final when this is concluded. So we do see a Gongoozle coming down, taking down the Drumble. And then we see the Terror taking down Schuler. And then we see an Ember Imp and another the Terror. Oh, it's just a shame Marcel has that single Amber. Otherwise, the Terror would have gained 2 for him. Oh. Okay. So we're back over to Marcel. Gets himself down double Mother. That means that we've actually got, well, Marcel, instead of drawing until he's got 6 cards at the end of the turn, he's going to be drawing till he's got 8. That's kind of huge. Incidentally, there are 2 Mother in his deck. So we see a bait and switch being discarded, wouldn't do anything, Vincent's got more Amber. We see Nexus, we see Dodger, we see Urchin stealing an Amber. Oh, this would be a great time to play the Terror. So Marcel basically last turn he went, look, I'm just going to play my 2-mother, draw 4 cards. But now I've got a board state where I'm drawing more cards than my opponent. Now I'm going to start rolling. So Relentless Whispers comes down to take down the Ember Imp, obviously. Steals an Amber. Incidentally, playing down the 2-mother was all Marcel could do last turn because the Ember Imp was on the field. We see a Silvertooth coming down ready. That's going to reap in a second. We see a pair of Umbra. So we saw 2-mother last turn, 2 Umbra this turn. Silvertooth, I mean, look, it's Silvertooth. You play it down ready, it reaps. If you ever get to reap with it again, bonus. But now we draw another bunch of cards. Having a hand of 8 rather than a hand of 6 gives you such a big advantage. Now, we see Lifeweb coming down here, and you steal 2 Amber because your opponent played 3 creatures or more on their last turn. And we see Dust Pixie coming down to gain the 2 Amber and a key charge. He got himself up to 7 Amber, or 8 Amber apparently, and then played the key charge to forge a key mid-turn. Against a Shadows deck that is capable of stealing Amber, using key charge basically says to your opponent, yeah, there's not going to be any stealing here, mate. There's nothing you can do. And Umbra, when you fight, you steal an Amber and it's got Skirmish. So those 2 Umbra would be able to steal 2 Amber and stop him forging. Vincent goes, look, I know you've got your 2 Umbra on the field. I know you've got other tricks. I'm just going to forge with key charge. It costs 1 more Amber, I suppose, because you've got to lose an Amber and then forge for current cost. But I don't really care, because now I'm golden. I'm good. Also, quick side note, there will not be an adaptive final. Everyone plays on their own deck. Also, Marcel, after taking down his opponent's Ember Imp, plays his own Ember Imp. So now it's Vincent who can only play 2 cards per turn. Drops down a Hand of Dis to destroy a creature not on a flank. Goes for the Nexus. Which I get, I suppose. That makes sense to me. Now, incidentally, if you're wondering what that artifact is, it is a Screaming Cave. Shuffle your hand and discard pile into your deck. So it's a really nice one, especially if you're drawing 8 cards at the end of your turn. It basically just resets your hand, which is nice. So Oubliette comes down, purging the Ember Imp. Purges a creature with 3 power or less. So yeah, but by Ember Imp, he gone for the rest of the game. We see stealing a single Amber here. Oh, because he's got Ghostly Hand. So he gains 2 Amber and steals 1. And look, Marcel's got a heck of a battle line going on. No one's arguing he doesn't. 2 Umbra, Silvertooth, 2 Mother. But the problem is he's got no Amber and hasn't forged a key. Vincent has forged a key and has 5 Amber. He's got a huge lead going on here. Oh, incidentally, that last creature I didn't name was Guardian Demon. So down comes another Umbra. Was that the same Umbra? No, I might just be being stupid on that one. So Marcel needs some Amber here in the worst way. Because it's all very well and good saying, look, you know, I've got a card. And he has got a great card advantage. But he plays down a Dexter to steal an Amber. And now it looks like just discarded reverse time. Plays a Positron Bolt, takes out Murmook. Gets some damage on Dodger. But and quick, so the Adventurer goes down and Research Smoko goes down. Plays a Phase Shift. Oh man, this needed to be a library access turn. Plays a creature, but no one cares how large your battle line is at the moment. Like, I don't want that to sound rude. He's got half a dozen different logos creatures. He can reap for loads next turn. But the fact of the matter is, he's got 3 Amber. He hasn't forged a key. And his opponent's just got on his 5th Amber, having forged a key. Gateway to Dis comes down, and see, that's one of the things I was worried about. I just didn't get a chance to say it. Gateway to Dis destroys each creature and gains you 3 chains. Now, there's a question here with Research Smoko, I believe is what they're looking at. When it's destroyed, you archive a top card of your... That's not a question. That's easy enough. Yeah. So all the creatures go down, and see, that's the problem. And look, there's gateway to dis in his deck. This kind of stuff can happen. And now you're behind on Amber. You're not forging a key next turn. You've got no keys already forged. And now neither player has a battle line. You don't and your opponent doesn't. So all the time spent building up a battle line goes to waste. Now Shula comes down and steals an Amber. Succubus comes down. Drumble comes down, though there's not 7 Amber or more. We've seen both players have Drumble in their deck. We've seen a lot of Dis on stream this week, a lot of Drumble and a lot of Ember Imp. A lot of Ember Imp. To be fair, it's one of the best creatures in the game. I still contend it's probably the best turn 1 card. It's phenomenal. So too much to protect comes down to steal a single Amber. But, and without sounding mean here, I don't mean to sound mean, both these players are in top 4, they're phenomenal players. But Marcel needs to get something going here. He needs to forge a key in the worst way. He does not play a key charge, I believe. No, he's not in Untamed. But he is, okay, so a couple of Nerve Blasts deal some Amber. This is more like it. So now he's gaining himself, he's up to 7 Amber. Ghostly Hand gets another 2 Amber, so I think that's him on 9 now. So he's stopping Dante forging, or Vincent forging, with Dante. Dante's the name of the Archon, so I think we can say that. He's got Vincent off of check, and he's got himself on a lot of Amber. So it looks like Vincent here, he's playing a Pit Demon. And he's playing a Shuffles. And he's just reaping a couple of times. And that's it. So, Marcel loses an Amber at the end of his turn because of Shuffles. Now he does finally get to forge his first key. And really here, this is potentially the turn he can turn it around. He's been behind all game. But if he's able here to just get 1 Amber away from Dante, while also grabbing a bunch of keys, a bunch of Amber, he's going to be able to jump ahead in the game. What he doesn't want to do is let Vincent forge next turn. See, what's weird is they've both got really... Oh, that's perfect. Charette comes down, steals 3 Amber, nice. To be fair, right, they've both got first names at the beginning of their Archon, so we've got like Marcel and Vincent, or we've got Donatella and Dante. So, that was what he needed. Now Vincent's not forging. I mean, at the risk of sounding greedy, if he's got a couple of maybe discards that have Amber bonuses, that would be nice. That'd be cool. I mean, he hasn't got many in his deck. Mind Barb he's got. Oh, wow. In fact... Looking through his disc suite, the only bonus Amber he's got in his entire disc suite is that 1 copy of Mind Barb. Now, he does play Hand of Disc to get rid of the Shooter, and he does chuck the Ember Imp down. That's good. And he does use Screaming Cave here. And what Screaming Cave does, basically, is it's got an action, so it doesn't sacrifice. You shuffle your hand and your discard pile into the deck. So basically, all of your cards that aren't on the field all get shuffled up into your... Or archived, I suppose, or purged. They all get shuffled up into your deck, and then you draw a new hand of 6. And there's a couple of reasons you would want to do this. Reason the first is just, my hand sucks. I don't want this hand. So, and you're going to draw until you got 6 at the end of your turn, but you might have 3 or 4 cards you don't want. So this gives you a chance to draw all new cards. And secondly... It's something like, we saw a game yesterday where a player was desperate for Effervescent Principle and couldn't draw it. But it was at least in their deck. It may well be that you need cards that aren't in your deck, so you use this to make sure that they then are in your deck. But that was a decent turn from Marcel. He captured the Amber, he got the Lash down, and we couldn't use it, but he's got it there for future turns. And he got the Ember Imp down so that his opponent can only play 2 cards per turn. He can still go Dis and use all 3 of his creatures, because there's 7 cards on board, they're all Dis. Between both players, we've got 5 creatures, 2 artifacts, all Dis. It is a Dis party right now. And they've both forged a key, and they've both got 3 Amber. And arguably, well, not arguably, Marcel does have the better setup here. Now, to be fair, that Shuffles is kind of... It's not Shuffles, is it? No, it is. That Shuffles is kind of annoying. Because at the end of Vincent's turn, Marcel's going to lose an Amber. Oh, okay. Yeah, Lost in the Woods comes down. Both players shuffle 2 creatures into their deck, all chosen by Vincent. So Marcel loses both of his creatures. Vincent actually chooses to lose Shuffles there. So Marcel's no longer going to be losing an Ember at the end of his turn, but he keeps Pit Demon that can steal an Ember. So Pit Demon stealing every dis turn rather than Shuffles losing one after every turn. Vincent thinks that's more important at the moment. So he plays himself down a Nocturnal Maneuvers just for the Amber bonus. He plays himself down a Vigor just for the Amber bonus. But he's up to a Amber at this stage. He's cleared his opponent's board of creatures. He's ready to forge next turn. I think he's doing pretty gosh darn well. Now, Marcel's also got a key, but now he's in that awkward situation. He needs to get rid of 3 Amber from Vincent, so down comes a Wild Wormhole. He needs to get himself on check. Oh, what a hit! He plays Wild Wormhole into bait and switch to steal 2 Amber. Now, it doesn't take Vincent off of check, but it does put Marcel onto check. Dexter captures an Amber, and he's done it, ladies and gentlemen. I did not think he was going to pull that off. I really didn't think, especially when he chose to go logos. A lot of luck in hitting the bait and switch there, but that was still wonderful. So now he's taken Vincent off of check while putting himself at 7 Amber, very much on check. And now he is in a wonderful, wonderful position. Oh, Mushroom Man comes down. Dana heals and gains a couple of Amber, because the Positron Bolt did deal 3 damage, which meant that you could heal 3 and gain the extra Amber. But now, Marcel, through that 1 Wild Wormhole, has actually jumped and has now been the first person to forge a second key. Remember, Vincent does have Key Charge. Now, it's not in his deck at the moment, but he's going to recycle his deck soon. We've got double Nerve Blast to steal a couple of Amber. Now, that Mushroom Man is actually an 8 power creature right now. So, just puts the 4 on Pit Demon. For the second time in the game, double Umbra comes down. And now Marcel is rocking, ladies and gentlemen. Vincent's not going to forge this turn. Marcel has just forged his second key. And he's in the driver's seat. And for most of this game so far, oh, it just literally just plays down a Silvertooth to take down the Umbra. For most of the game so far, it's really been just, you know, Vincent looking like he's in the lead. And that I think it was a gateway to this he played earlier. It was amazing. And then so many rounds, they do start, you know, when you do so many in a row, it does become difficult to differentiate them. But now, Marcel's just sitting there like, well, what am I going to do now? Because, what? Come on! So we see a phase shift coming down, playing the charrette to capture 3 Amber, and Mother comes down to grab himself an extra card at the end of the next turn. Then he plays Fogify. Your opponent cannot use creatures to fight on their next turn, which means it's going to be much harder to take out charrette. Remember, that Pit Demon could just take out charrette. It would go down, but it could take out charrette and get the Amber back. But now he can't. And now Marcel is actually on check for the final. He is on check to make it to the final. Vincent is at 10-0. Vincent seemed in complete control of this game. And Marcel has turned it around largely because of a Wild Wormhole into a bait and switch. What are the odds? I mean, come on. This is great. So Tolas gets discarded. I think that's not a Shula, is it? It's a Snudge comes down. And I'm going to be honest, right? I don't know what that creature is. Yeah, I can just see like the corner of it. Is it the Terror? No. It's not Tolas because that got discarded. Okay, so it's Shaffles. Shaffles is back. So Shaffles is back here to lose his opponent. Oh, that's actually pretty huge. Because Marcel's no longer on check, to be clear. The check has gone away. I mean, we knew it was going to, right? Because Pit Demon could steal an Amber. So we knew that going this, Pit Demon was going to take him off of check. But Yeah. Oh, this is coming down to it, ladies and gentlemen. This is coming down to it. And then, of course, Marcel loses another because of shuffles. So, but the thing is, Vincent hasn't forged a key. And he's not on check. And he has run out of deck, but he hasn't gone to draw a card. So he's not yet reshuffled his discard pile into his deck. So he cannot have key charge right now. So Shula comes down, Hand of Disc comes down to take out the Snudge. That's interesting. And then a second one comes out to take down the Mac the Knife, I believe that is. Now, obviously he wanted the Shaffles. But Shaffles is on a flank. And you got to wonder whether Vincent... Oh, and then a Mind Barb's coming down to discard a random card. You've got to wonder whether Vincent deliberately left Shaffles on a flank to stop it being destroyed by Hand of Dis. He knows his opponent's playing two Hand of Dis. So, leaving a creature you want on the board on a flank is a great idea against Marcel's deck. And the great thing here is, as it stands, Marcel's got 6 amber. So he's not forging next turn because of the Shaffles. So that's actually kind of huge. Now, is he using Screaming? I think he might be using Screaming Cave here. So he's drawing 6 cards. But there's no way he forges next turn. Shaffles will take away one of those amber. He will not forge at the beginning of his next turn. It's just not happening. Unless for some reason Vincent decides to get rid of his own Shaffles without getting rid of any Marcel's amber, which would be a bit silly. But Marcel's run at 10-0 is looking in jeopardy here, ladies and gentlemen. It really is looking in jeopardy. Now, he's not out of it by any stretch. He plays a Regrowth down. Traditionally, this would be a Dust Pixie for most players. Yeah, puts it straight to the top. If you got Dust Pixie and Regrowth, I mean, it gives you 3 amber. 1 for the Regrowth, 2 for the Dust Pixie. And then it's sitting there. Maybe you get to reap with it. It doesn't really matter. It gives you 3 amber, that play. So it's the one most players tend to go for. We see a Witch of the Eye coming down. And this is... Vincent's in a decent position, but the problem is he's got 6 amber. He's only got 6 amber. Now, the good news is he will be turning his deck, or his discard pile into his deck this turn. So that means key charge will be back in the deck, and that's going to be huge. We saw him key charge last game. We already saw him key charge for his one and only key this game. We know that Vincent's deck is set up for key charging. And having it back in the deck is going to be pretty huge. So he uses Mushroom Man there, chooses to take out the Shula. And then just readies all of his creatures. Shaffles takes away that 1 amber, so Marcel doesn't win the game. But Marcel can amber rush here. Marcel can just play the I'm ahead by a key. Now, what would be awesome if you can just get rid of 1 key using 1 amber using logos. Because as it stands, he can reap 3 times with logos to gain 3 amber. But the problem is, we now know, so Hand of Disc comes in to get rid of the Shaffles. And the thing is, we know that Drumble is now back in Vincent's deck. And Regrowth should be back in his deck. So Shaffles is gone now. But the problem is that there's too many ways that Vincent can essentially get all the amber if Marcel goes nuts. What he needs to do is get rid of an amber. Now, he's gone for Dis, so he can just Lash. He can literally just use Lash of Broken Dreams to make keys cost 9 next turn. The good news is... No. See, what Vincent could do with a right hand, he could just Mushroom Man to take out the Charette and then key charge. Like, that's an option here. Now, Ember Imp does go down, so Vincent can only play 2 cards. But key charge is back in play here. And it looks like Marcel is ending his turn not on... No, he's reaping with Charette. There we go. So now he is ending on check, but only just. But then again, only just might be good enough. Because it might be that Vincent's got a great Untamed turn planned, but he can't get rid of any amber. So he has to go for something like Dis or Shadows instead. sometimes just forcing your opponent to get rid of one amber actually forces their hand in terms of which house they have to choose. So you kind of get a control the weak almost. And you just put your opponent in a really awkward position. And that's fun. So he's drawing up till 6 to end his turn. Marcel, make no mistake about it, is still extremely in the driver's seat here. He is very much in control of this game. Doesn't mean he's going to win, but it does mean he is at the moment the favourite to win the final. Remember that Vincent has been lashed. So he would have to pay... Oh, Mushroom Man would not actually quite do it. He'd need one more amber. Because Mushroom Man will get the free amber back, but because of the lash, he'd need essentially 10 amber to forge. So... what's he got? Because first and foremost, he has to take an amber away from Marcel. So down comes the Terror. And looks like he's reaping with Tentacus. No, that's not Tentacus, that's Pit Demon. Stealing an amber with Pit Demon. And because Pit Demon's all there, we're fine. Yeah, for as long as Pit Demon's on the field, he can always just do that. So he's ending the turn with 7 amber, having stopped his opponent forging. So what does Marcel do now? Does Marcel rush for amber? Maybe. He could let Vincent forge his second key, but remember, if you let your opponent forge a second key, there's always a chance that they are going to go for key charge or something along those lines. So, you've got to be a little bit careful. Got to be a little bit careful here. And it is a big decision for Marcel. The final's on the line here. You know, this is going to put you in the final of a Vault Tour. So do you just go Logos and rush for amber? Or, I mean, he could go Dis and lash and his opponent won't be forging next turn without key charge. That would do it alone. But the problem is, and I've done this myself, you can't just keep choosing Dis to go lash and stop your opponent forging. It's not enough. Like, if you can do that while building up a battle line, reaping a couple times, etc., that's fine. And to be fair, he does have Charette and Ember Imp down, so he's probably better off going Dis than Logos here, just so he can use Lash while reaping twice, as opposed to reaping 3 times without Lash. So he has gone for... he has gone for Logos here, and he's playing his reverse time, gets him an amber bonus and swaps his deck and his discard pile. Now that, of course, the discard pile is public knowledge, so that means his opponent can just look through his deck. Now, or what is now his discard pile, was his deck like 10 seconds ago. It's much less exciting in Keyforge than a lot of games, because in an Archon tournament like this, where you take your own deck, as opposed to a sealed where you get given one, you get 2 minutes to look through your opponent's deck at the beginning of the game anyway. So, oh, okay, library access. Here we go. So, every time he plays a card, he gains a card. So now, he's shuffling up his deck, and now he's amber rushing. So he's got 9 amber as it stands. Oh no. No, it looks like he literally just reaped with his creatures to get up to 9 amber and passed. Now, there is a route to victory here for Vincent. It's not an easy one. If he goes untamed, he can reap 3 times. Which of the eye will then get back a card, which could potentially get him some amber, and maybe he can find his way into a key charge? Because either he gets up to 7 amber and key charges, or he gets rid of 4 of his opponent's amber. Otherwise, he's lost. They are his routes to victory. Simple as that. He can gain a bunch of amber with Untamed, to be fair. Mushroom Man could take out the Charette, and that would get 3 amber. It's a 5 power creature as it stands. Although, to be fair, if that Mushroom Man has got 5 damage on, Mushroom Man... oh, too much to protect comes in. If Mushroom Man is a 5 power creature, Mushroom Man should be destroyed right now. Mushroom Man should no longer be there. because it gains free power for every key you've got unforged. It wasn't at 8, it's now at a 5. That Mushroom Man should be going. Now, the good news is Vincent now is going nuts with Amber. He's got his ghostly hand. He's got Lights Out, which is going to get rid of Dexter and Charette. Or Mother. So they've noticed the I'm going to be honest, right? I texted someone who I knew was sitting at the table. I texted them about Mushroom Man. It's an easy one to miss. It really is an easy one to miss. So the Mushroom Man has now gone. He does go for the Charette in the end. I thought he was maybe going to go for the Mother. And Vincent here, he's looking at keeping the streak alive. Because he's got so much Amber. He's got what? He's got 5. Oh my goodness, that's a lot of Amber. So, 14 Amber. He played a bunch of creatures of Amber bonuses, did some reaping, and Marcel just concedes. Marcel goes, mate, you got too much Amber. Marcel sitting there at 5 Amber. He can't forge a key. Vincent somehow plays so many cards to get himself up to 14 Amber in a heartbeat. And just goes, yeah, we're good. I mean, Ghostly Hand, too much to protect, etc., etc. They will do it. He went nuts in that last turn. So fast we could barely keep up. Gets himself 14 Amber. And Vincent is going to make the final of this Vault Tour with an 11-0 record. That's silly, ladies and gentlemen. That's silly. Again, the silliest thing about this is a survival tournament. You're not supposed to put your best deck first. You're supposed to put a really good deck you like first, so that when it takes a loss, you've then got a better chance of having your best deck in day 2. Vincent has no respect for that philosophy. Or Vincent doesn't even think this is his best deck. Although, come on, it's a pretty good deck. And like I've said, Vincent has a big advantage here because Vincent has played more games this weekend than his deck than anybody else. Unless there's another like 11-0 going into next round. Either way, this is nuts, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely nuts. So we are going to be taking a little bit of a break before we go to the final. If you're on YouTube, comment, like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter @TheWossy. Look out yourselves till next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.